Hello gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how to lab and create your own scheme in Madden 23. This is actually a requested tip. The guy's been asking me for weeks now to do this and I'm finally delivering. Hope you enjoy, brother, and let's get into it. So I'm going to break this down into a few different sections with timestamps. You guys can jump around if you really want to, but what I'm going to say is there's going to be a lot of talking in this video as opposed to, showing you plays. And because it's important for you to know my mindset on how I lab and create my own schemes. So let's start with the first thing, which is create a list of prerequisites. This is extremely important to start your process this way because it's going to eliminate a ton of formations when you figure out what you really want. So for instance, you want to figure out what kind of split you want to run on offense. Do you want to have a 50-50 split between run and pass? Because if you do, you're probably going to want to be under center. So single back, I form, whatever the case. If you want to be pass heavy, 95%, 5% pass to run, then you probably want to be in shotgun. And at that point, you kind of figure out, okay, I want to be in gun or I want to be in under center. To take it a step further, let's say you want to be pass heavy. You might want to be looking at things like, do I have a perfect pass protection? Do I want to have that? Like have a tight end on one side and have a running back on the other. So if I max pro, I have a perfect max pro. That's another thing you can look at. Do you want to have a compressed set? Do you want to have a spread out set? Those kind of things will help you, for instance, just look through all of the spread formations in the game. Which brings us to point number 2. Find the formation after you've figured out your prerequisites. So you can use my playbook tool on acemadden.com. I'm going to show it on the screen right now, acemadden.com/playbooks. And it's going to allow you to sift through all the playbooks and see what's out there. It's going to allow you to find the formations that you're looking for and then hopefully find the plays that you're looking for. So that brings us into our next step, and that's to actually find the runs and routes you want to build around. Now, you don't necessarily know yet just from looking at, the playbook tool if the runs are good or not. You're going to have to test those for yourself, but you have to find something that catches your eye. So for instance, I'm looking at Chiefs single back dudes close. The reason that I find this unique is it has an 0-1 trap and it's exclusive to the Chiefs playbook. So I'm like, you know what? That's pretty unique. I think 0-1 traps are really good. It's an inside run. We also have the stretch to complement it. This is definitely usable. And then I look at the routes and I'm like, okay, we have corner routes from the outside receiver. We have a crosser from one of the receivers. We have deep post. These are all good routes in the game usually, and we can mess around with these and see if they can work. The next step is really quick, and I've already done it, and it's to select the Buccaneers every single time when you're labbing a new offense in practice mode. And that's because Tom Brady has Hot Route Master. So if you guys want to see a specific route and how it can benefit the scheme that you're trying to create, you have everything at your disposal. So just use the Bucs. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay, so earlier you saw that I was looking through the Chiefs dudes close because it has the 0-1 trap, has potential for some balance, and I want to see if this formation can actually become an actual scheme. So this is going to be the meat and potatoes of the video. I'm going to be actually doing a kind of lab session live and showing you kind of my thought process. So there's not going to be a whole lot of structure to this. So you're going to have to bear with me. It might be 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes. But the first thing I'm going to do is figure out if the runs are worth a damn. So we'll go ahead and put zone weak and stretch into my audibles so I can just access them quickly. And then we'll start with the 0-1 trap. And then this is very important. I like to lab against random defense. And the reason for that is I want to have a ton of different looks, and I want my pass plays to beat both zone and man in some capacity. Like I want to have an answer for everything on every play, because if you have just a zone beating play, then you're just going to get bagged by man when they do call man. So random play is something that's very important to me. I'm going to use that every single time when I lab. So what I'm going to do now is figure out if the trap is good. So ignore Justin Jefferson in the backfield. I was labbing another offense earlier, and I had short and elite on him. So I wanted him to see how he did out of the backfield. So ignore him. We're going to test the trap and see how it goes. It looks like, the pulling guard goes from the left. We hand it off with our weak hand with our quarterback. Looks like there was a decent gap, but that guy ended up crashing down and disrupting the play. So right here, 0-1 trap, I don't think it's going to be very good versus double A gap. Ends up being a okay cutback lane, but it's just kind of scary running an 0-1 trap versus that. A good thing about this formation is it's symmetrical, so I can also test it flipped. So just hit X and then RT. So it's now flipped. Right there, another 5-yard gain. And it looks like it's decent. So far, you know, early impression is, okay, this is a usable play. Getting positive yards. It might be a very hard run to shoot. Right here, nice little cutback lane. So this is usable. At this point, I'm like, okay, this 0-1 trap, we can work with this. I'll mess with the other runs real quick just to see, you know, are they also good? So blocking's different. It's a zone run, of course. Nobody's pulling. Everybody's just blocking in a zone. Right here, they are in a 3-3. Slot cornerback is on the right side, so I'm just going to run it to the left because we have numbers over there. We just get shedded. Get absolutely shedded. So run it a few more times to move on to the stretch. It's right here. Okay, so that's 2 times that the play's just kind of been blown up. And I'm like, okay, this run can be blown up just by a stock computer defense. It's probably not going to be the best move. So right there, defensive tackle sheds again. At this point, I'm like, you know what? That can't be coincidence. This run just probably isn't very good at blocking. So move on to the stretch. Right here, slot cornerback's on the right side. That means we have numbers on the left. I'm going to flip it. Boom. Get our 10-yard gain. So the stretch, I don't have to lab it too much. I know the stretches can be fine. So the stretch and the 0-1 trap are both runs that I can build around and have some balance with. Okay, so at that point, you know, runs are fine. I think they'll hold up online pretty well. So we'll move on to, you know, the pass plays, which the pass plays, I'm not going to act like are going to be game breaking, but they're usable. So let me go back and say what play that was. It's going to be P8X post cross. So this is a play that's been in the game forever. So you guys have probably seen it before. But the reason I like it is because it has, you know, the deep skinny post. It has this very fast crosser from our receiver. And then if you keep the play action, you have a table route from your running back. So all of these are, you know, good routes. I'll just run it stock first and see, you know, how does it do versus just stock coverage. Right here, that was almost picked. So let's go to instant replay and figure out why was it almost picked. I already know the answer, but the answer is going to be this guy gets passed off to the safety, to the middle third safety. This guy's no longer being cleared out, and he's able to jump on this crosser. So at that point, I'm saying to myself, okay, do I want to hit this crosser? If I do, I have to do one of 2 things. I have to maybe put X on a streak, or I can reset the play and move him out. And at that point, he's now going to really be clearing that guy out. And something I didn't mention that I forget to mention a lot in my videos is you want to pick a hash to be on usually. Since we're in deuce close, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stay between because it doesn't matter a whole ton out of deuce close. But I will show you in a second how it would matter out of another set. So right here, look at the difference. Crosser is now wide open. And that's because we're now clearing him out with this post. So at this point, we found a good route to build around. It's this crosser. So you don't have to run this play stock. You can do different things with it. So you can get rid of the play action by blocking or putting the running back on a route. So we'll go ahead and put him on a route. And then we'll do, for instance, keep that tight end blocked over there. And maybe run something like this. Motion this guy out again. So now we have a high-low option going to the left sideline. Break does not gain any separation. That's just because he's complete cheeks. We'll do it again. Wheel the running back. Maybe flat this guy. And just mess around with certain route combinations that I think will be decent. It's right here. Boom. The flat takes the zone to the sideline. We have a little bit of a pocket there. Wasn't the best thing in the world. Right here, let's say we want to keep our guy condensed. We might put him on a fade or on a streak. Run the play like this again. Right there, the only thing that was going to beat man was the crosser. And that's another thing to remember is that when we run this kind of route combination, it's only to beat zone. So if they call man, what's going to be our beater? And the answer is this guy. Well, what if he gets usered? Then you're pretty much screwed. So when I build plays, I typically always want to have at least 2 man beating routes on the same play, because you have to just say, okay, what if one gets taken away by the user? So what can I do here? The answer is not exactly the best one, and I want to have additional routes with my tight end, because out of the stock routes, if you don't have abilities like short and elite, there's no route for our tight end that's going to really separate versus man, and we kind of need that. So this is where Tom Brady comes in. This is where I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and put this guy on a trail now. Now at this point we have 2 man beating routes, and then we'll maybe run it. Let's leave the play action on this time. See what happens. It's right there. Kyle Rudolph also isn't the best separator, but this is a good route combination. Let's do it again. Put this guy on a trail. I'll go ahead and put our running back on an out route. So look at that. We now have 2 routes that beat man coverage that the user cannot take away both. Because if he has to run with this crosser, he can't also cover this guy, who's also going to beat man coverage. So at this point, we now have a good route combination that can attack both man and zone. So that's kind of like the gist of how I'll build a pass play. I think it's important, like I said, to have 2 routes that can beat man, and then also, not only beat man, but not be covered by a user. So have good spacing between the 2 man beating routes. And then also it has to have the ability to beat zone. So it has to be a good fundamental zone beating concept. So I could do this for, I don't know how long. This was just 9 minutes covering one pass setup, but I just wanted to more importantly show you kind of the mindset I have when building plays and building schemes. So I know it wasn't like a full mini scheme for you guys. If you guys really want me to do a full mini scheme out of Deuce Close, drop a like on the video. Let's get it to 200 likes and I will do that for you. But as of right now, this is all I have. The last step I would say is probably just take it online after you figure out enough plays. So for instance, like once you have the run plays selected and you have the pass plays, like you have like maybe at least 5 setups for your passes, just take it online and see how it does versus users, because it's going to be different than practice mode. You're going to figure out a lot of things about your scheme. You're going to see, okay, the user is really making this complicated for me. I can't make my reads fast enough versus this meta blitz. So that would be the final step, is just take it online and see how it does and then make adjustments as you need. So that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Like I said, 200 likes and I'll do a full scheme out of Deuce Close. And then if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'm trying to post very close to daily Madden 23 content. And then if you guys want to win more games, head over to acemadden.com, become a member, and then you'll gain access to every single ebook and you'll win more games. So that's going to be it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.